Okay, so we just got back from the car wash, and I thought this would be a good time, other than it's really windy, to talk about what people have asked about, and that's the replacement for the cap.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
Now that we got the fifth wheel, we wanted to get into something that still would protect the bed while we weren't towing, and that's what got us into the roll and lock. And I have a love-hate relationship with it, just like I did the cap. The love part, let's talk about the love part. No, let's do the hate part. We'll leave the love for later. So the hate part of it, when we received it, it was damaged. It was in the box, it was beaten up, the box didn't look that it was that bad. There was some stuff that was dented up front. This panel, this piece here was dented. The piece that's underneath that was dented, which I just straightened that part out. There was parts that were broken on here. This part was broken. It's still broken to this day because I actually tried to repair it, and then I got replacement pieces, and I'm like, I'm not gonna dig out all of that JB Weld to put the replacement piece in at that point. And it does make a difference. That's actually part of the guide for this thing, so it doesn't move side to side. The installation was quick and easy, but it was a little bit more Mickey Mouse than I thought it was going to be. I don't know how to say that, you know, how to where it makes sense, but these brackets, I just thought that they were going to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more less adjustable, let's say that. There's so many different adjustments with these things that I can make this top slide in and out real nice and easy, but then it becomes unlocked easily. And the way that you can find out if yours is done correctly, if you decide to go with this, is how much it moves side to side once it's installed. So if it moves side to side real easy, you can make the latches that are holding it from moving in and out, you can disengage them if this moves side to side pretty easy. So I had to fight with that. I've got it so tight now that it doesn't move side to side, but this last few feet, it's kind of tight. I don't care for that. The other thing, they didn't make a completely power, push a button that it rolls in and out. They didn't make one for the long beds. I have no idea why they don't make them for the long beds, but they don't. And the only other company that does is Pace Edwards, and their cover is very expensive, more expensive than this one, and I don't like the way that it's built at all. So I went with this one, but now that I don't have a power top to it, there's only so many locking positions. I can cut and manually make another locking position that gets it a little bit closer to the fifth wheel, so you protect even more as you're driving down the road and it starts to rain. But I don't know if I even want to do that. The other problem with not having a power control for this is you got to deal with this stupid strap. This is the dumbest thing. I've tried to find a place to hook it, to hide it, to run it along the side. It doesn't make a difference. It's always in your way. Every time you try to put something in the bed, it's in your way. When you roll it forward, it's in the way. Whenever you put it in over your fifth wheel hitch, you know, if it's greasy, that gets on the strap. Everything's in the way. This thing's always in the way. I don't know how many times I've loaded stuff up into the bed that's like long things, and then I couldn't close it because the strap got caught up in whatever I was loading, and I had to, you know, fish it out. So that sucks. So if you guys have short beds, definitely get the power one. I mean, your strap will be shorter, but you also won't have to deal with a strap at all. The material on the top seems to be really decent, but there's already some pits and stuff going on here. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't even know how to describe that either. Other things, this here, why would they cut this trim piece so short? You know, that doesn't make any sense. It could have been, you know, the full length. I'll have to say though, the company that we bought it from was Real Truck. Now I could have ordered it from Amazon. I should have, I guess. If I have the link for it, I'll put it down below. I tried to order from Roll and Lock Direct, and it was kind of a mess. They didn't have it in stock. It was the same price, and it was going to be a while. They didn't know when it was actually going to ship, where Real Truck had this in stock, and I think Amazon might have had it in stock, but Real Truck was a little bit cheaper at the time. So I ordered from them, and I got it right away. Now the good news is, customer service wise, the stuff that was broken did get fixed. Let me think, what else don't I like? Again, the adjustment, this thing is real tight when it goes in and out near the end, because I needed to make it nice and tight so it didn't move side to side and become unlocked. The whole idea is, you know, keep everything secure back here whenever it's closed. Oh, the other thing that I don't really care for, I won't say hate, but the drain tubes that are in the front, they're very easy to install. There's no issue there, but I had to take a couple of dish drainers, those stainless steel dish drainers that you find at the dollar store, turned them upside down, and I put urethane on around the drain tubes, the holes on both sides, because there's so many leaves and so much debris gets in here that they could plug those drain tubes pretty easy. So that was something else I didn't like. The other thing is, you can see all of this urethane that I put in here, because the piece on the front just didn't seal real well against the bulkhead. It wasn't a real tight seal, and all the water that would run right here would puddle, and as you give it a little gas, and of course it would rather go inside the bed. So I put this urethane all along here and basically made a blocker, and that worked. So I think that's all the things I hate. It didn't add very much weight. Oh, I don't like that there's no power lock or anything like that. I mean, I have to have a key to unlock this every single time. I'm used to my cap. Idea behind the cap having the power door was, if I unlocked the truck, the cap was unlocked. You know, I just had a key fob. If I unlocked the truck with my app, it would unlock the cap. So now I'm relegated to using a key to unlock this. All right, that is, I think, all the things I hate. What do I love about it? You can ask Heidi. How well does this keep water out of the bed?
Pretty good.
Way better than I thought, and I cannot believe that.
Even after we wash.
And I fill this soap, water, I just spray the crap out of it. I cannot believe how well it keeps water out of the bed. And I'll have to say, it does better than the cap. The cap had places that the water would come in weird spots that I just couldn't find. This one does not. This one does a very good job keeping the water out. And you would think with just this little rubber seal that's in the back, and when I close the tailgate, it's not even flush really. It's lower here and higher here. It's kind of strange. I thought, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. And it really keeps it dry back here. Now, of course, that doesn't make any difference whenever we have the fifth wheel and we're towing down the street and it's raining, because it's all going to get wet. So we'll probably have a problem at some point with having to leave this open for it to dry out, because water that's in there, if this is, you know, that good at keeping the water out, it's probably pretty good keeping the water, the moisture in. We want to make sure that don't happen. The other thing I like is the way it looks. I think this thing looks awesome. It really looks cool. I think it looks really good. I don't know what there's what I was talking about as far as there's an imperfection on it. I don't know what that is, and it just showed up out of nowhere. So we got to kind of deal with that. But other than that, I think this thing looks really, really good. As far as fuel mileage with it closed and all that stuff, I still think I got better gas mileage with the cap. However, we went to West Palm Beach and I drove normal. The truck with all the crap that we have in it, including the fifth wheel hitch, what was the weight at the 8,000? Yeah, 8,560 pounds is what the truck weighs with half a tank of gas, and both Heidi and I in it. And driving down the road at like 70 miles an hour, doing just casual driving, the truck got 17 miles to the gallon. With, of course, this closed, it's the, you know, that's about the same of what it got with the cap, but I think the cap with pulling the RV might have done a little bit better, because I think it kept the air up and away from the front of the travel trailer a little bit easier than this. But this did do a good job with the fifth wheel. And it didn't even have to be closed all the way either, which is kind of cool, you know. There is some protection of stuff that's up front. One of the things that you might want to take in consideration though when you're buying this is we did get the generator, which there'll be a video already out, I think, on that generator. And we've had the generator for a while now. How long have we had that generator?
Months?
Yeah. And it won't, this top won't close with the generator. It just sits a little bit too low. The good news is it sits really low, and I've got quite a bit of clearance with our fifth wheel from the bed rail. I think we're 7 or 8 inches of clearance from the rail to the bottom of the fifth wheel. So we got a lot of clearance there, which is good. But the cover, if you're looking for something, and I watched so many videos, and I just didn't know which one was going to be best. You know, people had complaints with almost any of them. This one here, I don't remember what the complaints were. You heard my complaints though. And I'll have to say, if I had to buy it over again, I might. I don't know 100% because of my experience with it being broken when I got it. That kind of sucked. And the fact that I'm trying to cover up a generator, that kind of sucks. But other than that, it's very, very nice. So let me go ahead and get the keys for this so I can run this thing in and out, and we can show you what it looks like. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've got it kind of tight in the back so it doesn't move side to side. Again, I can adjust that back out to where it's nice and loose back here, but I've gotten used to it, and it makes it a little bit easy, you know, peace of mind knowing that it's not going to get broken into. Oh, and the other thing is it doesn't hold weight, but it's sturdy. I mean, there's aluminum that goes all the way across here. You can kind of see the ribs, maybe. I'm not sure how it's coming out on camera, but those are aluminum slats that are in there. Let me show you what it looks like underneath. So I think that design's really nice. The one thing you're going to find yourself doing is always spraying the tracks with silicone. And the other thing you need to do is have 303 protectant, and you need to keep this wiped down to keep it, you know, smooth and protected. It is a tonneau cover. You don't want this material to break down on you, so keep it, you know, keep it protected as much as possible. This is what I was talking about. I had to go get the key for this. It's not that it's difficult, it's just I had to go get it. And the way this thing works is that's unlocked. This allows it to move back and forth all the way. But when this goes all the way in, that part down there knocks this thing back in this position, so that when you pull it forward, it click, 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 and it locks at each one of those positions. But that's the unlock position. You can see it's not going anywhere, and it moves relatively easy, and I could make this so much more loose if I wanted to. But that's pretty much it. Again, the whole idea behind this part here is I wish it was a little less tight, but it needs to be. And you'll hear it click. There's the first lock position. Let me get it kind of in that place. There you go. So that's the first lock position. And this is the position that we would travel with when we're towing the fifth wheel. It needs to be right about there when towing the fifth wheel. That's maybe there. And that's not enough distance for me to worry about, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to mess around with cutting the track for that. Again, there's the second lock position. Of course, that covers up the fifth wheel really well. But the good news is it does give you the ability to load something tall in here if you want. Like in our case, a generator. It's not very tall, but, and it does clear. You can see it clears the fifth wheel by quite a bit of space. The hitch. That's just the companion hitch that's on the Ford Puck system. And these totes are pretty standard. One more lock position there. I don't know if you heard it. Again, in case you have something that's just tall right near the end, maybe you have a pressure washer or a push mower that the handle's sticking up and you don't necessarily want to do anything about it as far as folding the handles down. And then finally the last position, which again, it's kind of tight here, but that's it. It's locked. it's locked in position as far as that goes, but you have to lock this. Now it's locked and it won't move. So overall, I have to say that it's good. It does the job. Again, it keeps things dry in here much more than I thought. Not that that makes a difference for us having a fifth wheel and towing in the rain, something like that. But all the time, like in our case, we did have a cap when we first got here, but we could have just easily, you know, had this fifth wheel, let's say next year in November. And, you know, we didn't have this hooked up to the RV from November till February. And then we just went and got the fifth wheel. That was the only time that we were out towing. So ultimately, you know, your tonneau cover, if you're sitting for a long period of time, could be protecting stuff in the bed for a long period of time. Now it's funny because once you get a rolling lock, you start seeing a lot of other people that have the same one. And prior to us getting this, I went down and introduced myself to the neighbor. He has a Dodge Ram down there, and he had a rolling lock. And I asked him, hey, what do you think about it? He said, I love it. He said, it's great. You know, it does everything that I want it to do. He says, I don't really worry about too much stuff getting wet in the bed. He says, but it does keep stuff dry back there. And in his case, he has a power one. He has the button, you know, you just push and the power goes in and out. And again, I wish I had that, so I get rid of the strap. But a nice unit. Again, if I have a link for it, I don't know if I will. It'll be in the description. Just take a look at that first. If not, call Real Truck. Tell them that you've seen this video on RV Daydream and that you're thinking about ordering one. Now, I don't have any affiliation with them, but maybe I will. If enough people say, hey, RV Daydream, they sent me here. Yeah, I like it overall. Would I buy it again? Most likely. If I didn't have the problem with the generator, I'd say yeah, for sure. And if it was power, I'd say definitely. But yeah, this is a good fit for us, and I'm happy that we have it. As always, guys, we hope to see you out here. Bye.